This is Emily,
Henley,
and Sammy, and you're listening to Too Scary Didn't Watch.
Hey everybody, welcome to Too Scary Didn't Watch, the horror movie recap podcast for those too scared to watch for themselves. I'm Emily, I'm a little sick, and I'm scared.
Oh, she's sick.
I'm a little sick.
Oh, I'm Henley, I'm scared, not sick.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Sammy, and I am brave, and also not sick.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, look at us. Did anything scary happen to us this week?
I have a scary thing.
Okay.
I finished season 3 of Love Island,
Okay.
Whoa.
which means I've now watched approximately 120 hours of Love Island, and I cried a lot.
Wow.
A lot more than you'd think.
From the story of the show, or that you were done?
No, from
the story.
their relationships. They do like fake vows in the end.
What
Oh
happens
my
at the
God.
end? Do they all get engaged?
Well, they pick a winner.
How do you
no,
win?
they don't get engaged. They're voted by the public.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like
It's like American Idol.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's American Idol meets a dating show?
Mm-hmm.
Meets Survivor, meets The
Holy
Bachelor.
Hell, yes.
And I was just really invested in all of their relationships, and their vows were really sweet and beautiful, and they cry and I cried, and man, it was.
I feel like I might cry right now.
I love crying from love is really great. It's really great. It's a good feeling.
That's true.
Well, I watched something different. Actually, I watched Hereditary.
Oh my
I'm pretty
Mhm.
shocked, Henley.
God.
I watched it at work on silent in the corner of my screen while doing other things.
So you looked at Hereditary.
I looked at it and also like fast forwarded through it. So I watched I really wanted to see this scene where her head gets cut off.
And did you?
I watched it and it wasn't as, none of it was as brutal as I was expecting.
Well, because you're watching it in like a small corner,
Mhm,
quietly.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
You're not like invested in it.
The context definitely made a difference. Also, I'd heard every little detail about it from our podcast. So
Yes.
it really desensitized
Took
me.
the edge off.
Yeah, kind of neutralized it a little bit.
Good.
But man, it was beautiful. Like, that's all I have to say.
Wow.
It was more beautiful than I was expecting it, like just visually stunning. But yeah, that was the scary thing I did this week.
That's a little scary.
That is scary.
Mhm.
Well, as I mentioned, I'm a little sick. So I didn't do anything for this is the first, I haven't done anything for like 2 days. And I can't really watch TV all the time when I'm sick. It like hurts my eyes. My eyes like can't like stare at screens for that long. So I was like desperate to find something to do. And I remembered that I had a copy loaned to me by a friend of Twilight,
Fuck yeah.
which I have never read.
Mm.
And now I'm almost done because it's been all I've been doing. And I love it, you guys. I really love it. And I get it. I get why it's a big deal.
Twilight's cool again.
Twilight's cool again. I feel like my approaching 30 was the right time in my life to discover Twilight and get into it for the first time. And we watched most of the first film the other night because Sammy and Silent Jenna, who's not present, are big Robert Pattinson fans, big Twilight fans.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'm like
baby.
really, when did it first come out? Like
2008.
great. So I'm 11 years behind the trend, but man, am I loving it. And it's a little scary that I love it. Anyway, I haven't had any human contact in like 48 hours, but I can't wait for you guys to leave so I can get
Get the fuck out of here.
Get out of my house. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it then.
Let's get into it, please. I have a plan to get to.
All right. This week's movie is Seven. Came out in 1995. Directed by David Fincher. Written by Andrew Kevin Walker. Starring Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Kevin Spacey.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And this week
Yes.
on our pod, so freaking excited to have the one and only Monica Padman from the probably like the best podcast
Probably the
out
best.
there, I would
Ooh.
say. Armchair Expert with Dak Shepard. Thank you so much for
Hi.
being here, Monica.
Of course. So
Monica.
happy to be here. What an intro. Best podcast.
Well, it like kind of is,
Thank
isn't
you.
it? I mean,
We
it's
love it.
pretty successful.
We have fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I listen to it all the time.
Oh, thanks.
Huge fan.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to be here because I love Seven.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
do you
a
like
good one.
Do you like scary movies generally?
I'm half and half. I like psychological thrillers a ton.
Mhm.
But like straight up horror, I will like in a big group, like a Halloween watching.
Yeah.
But I'm not
The
going to watch
experience of it.
Exactly. Or like a movie theater. Like when I was in high school, we all saw The Ring, like a whole huge group of friends went and saw The Ring.
The Ring's a scary one.
So scary. And everyone's screaming in the movie theater. It's just so fun.
That is fun.
Yeah.
But I would never like turn that on in my house by myself.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. That's something that I
do
a lot now.
Wow.
I mean,
you never used to.
I have to. I will say I watched 7 at 7 a.m. this morning.
By yourself.
See, something I wouldn't have usually done.
Yeah, you texted and said, my life is weird now.
I have to watch a horror movie a week. I usually try to watch them at nighttime and make a whole thing out of it and try to get as into it as I can. And I mean, I was into this movie, but it's a little less scary when it's daytime.
Yeah.
I think I have seen this movie a long time ago, and I only remember 2 things from it.
There's there's definitely some memorable things.
Oh, yes.
Some parts that really stuck out for me as well.
But most of it I don't remember, so I'm very excited to hear you guys walk us through it.
Out.
Yeah, I want to know
man.
all the details. All those deets.
Well, first of all, Brad Pitt is prime.
Yeah.
It's prime BP.
I feel like he's entering a second prime.
Oh my God. Tell me.
True.
Well, by the way, he never left prime.
No, he never left his prime.
He's
But he's like,
perfect looking.
he's like sort of back in a moment, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
I just love him so much.
Yeah, he never had a dumpy phase, did
No,
he?
oh my God, are we kidding? No,
Never.
Dumpy Brad Pitt is impossible to imagine. I can't even
Even his
fathom it.
Benjamin Button old baby is kind of cute,
hot.
you know? Still attractive. Oh, man. Yeah.
He's a good looking guy.
Don't you see him around this neighborhood? Doesn't he like live
What?
near here?
Well, okay. He does live near
We're
here.
keeping it private, though.
We're keeping it private. We're not going to say where here is,
Yeah, of
Henley.
Oh, my God.
No, I have not seen him around. I did see Angelina Jolie once, which was pretty cool. It was post-separation, though. Post-separation.
But your boyfriend saw him.
My boyfriend saw him walking out of a restaurant. He held the door open for Brad Pitt.
Oh.
He described Brad Pitt as being in all cream gray leather. What? Head to toe.
I don't even know what that means.
And we're gonna trust his description.
mean?
and as he held the door, Brad Pitt walked out, looked right at him, and said, "Thank you." And then kept walking.
He's so polite.
I mean, he's so
What a nice guy.
What a dream.
Honestly, what a saint.
Well, what restaurant was it? Can you tell us that?
I'll tell you. It was Mess Hall on this Felix Boulevard, which is like
I basically live at Mess Hall.
the first time I went there after Joel had seen Brad Pitt there. A friend of mine was like, "You could be sitting in the very same chair. You could be using the very same fork. You don't even know."
God. Oh, you'll know. You'll feel the energy.
it.
You'll
Yeah.
feel it.
So he's around. He's around.
It gives us all hope.
Yeah.
It's a reason to get up in the morning, you guys.
It really is.
Monica, what's the scariest movie you've ever seen? Do you have one that sticks out as like the did anything traumatize you as a little kid or anything?
No, I don't think I saw any as a young kid that I was like, oh, I'm never seeing this type of thing again or other. And my parents protect me pretty well.
Right. That's good.
We were supposed to go see Jurassic Park as a family.
I remember Jurassic Park being pretty scary.
Well, then my mom came home from work and was like, we're not going anymore because someone at work had told her it was too scary. I was devastated.
Ripped in half in it.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely scary.
Yeah.
Those raptors at the end hiding in the kitchen, scary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That scene is
really scary.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I resent her for that.
I would have been real pissed at that.
I was so excited. Ugh.
Expectations dashed.
I know. That's my only real memory associated with a scary movie.
With horror.
I mean, really, I already said it, but like The Ring is the movie that I remember being like, I can hardly contain, like, I'm so scared.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know how to handle it, but I was with friends, so it was okay. But then going home and being by myself after,
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
That was pretty rough for
I remember
me.
people being very freaked. The Ring had like a big moment.
Yes.
It's
She
really
comes out of
scary.
the TV, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Scary.
And then her hair, her
Yeah.
like matted hair.
Sick.
Ugh. It is sick. It is sick. This circles back to 7, where I watch every time I watch it, I'm like, I'm scared of this person that wrote this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like that is a really interesting
the
part
mind
about
that
horror
created
movies.
it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Ari Aster.
Yeah, like what's
we have a
him?
lot of questions for Ari Aster. What
A lot.
happened? What happened in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This movie is
Right.
so smart.
Like
I think it's brilliant.
You've thought of all these things.
Yes. Like the psychopath in the
Why?
movie is brilliant.
Right.
And so then this writer has to be as brilliant as
a
the villain.
as a murdering psychopath.
Exactly.
Yeah. True.
So I hope I don't run into him at mess hall.
Yeah, that's one we'll
Yeah.
skip.
We'll
Yeah,
skip
we'll
that
skip
one.
that.
We'll skip Kevin Spacey too.
Oh yeah,
We'll
I thought that might come up. Yeah.
He is in this movie.
Disclaimer, Kevin Spacey is in this.
He is in this movie.
He's in this movie. He
But so
was
is
in
Brad Pitt.
movies.
So he was in movies.
He was
you
in
know.
movies.
He was in movies.
We can't erase him from
We
our history.
cannot.
And I
Nor
have a
should we.
question. I have a philosophical question.
Oh, I love this.
Mhm.
Can we say he's very, very good?
He's
We
a
can
good
say
he's
it.
a good actor.
He's
can say
a
it.
very good actor.
We can say it.
Doesn't mean
The
he's
two
a
are
good
not
person.
related.
Right.
He can
Right.
be a very bad man
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a very good actor.
He could have done really
at the
bad things.
same time.
Yeah.
Yep, we
yeah.
can put him in two separate
We
boxes.
can put them in two
Yeah.
boxes.
We can compartmentalize this about Kevin
We
Spacey.
can.
Okay.
We're going to have to do it for
We
this
have to.
We are.
podcast.
For the
We
sake
just
of-
don't have a choice.
We
For the
are.
sake of this episode, we're
Yeah.
gonna have to.
And he is incredible in it.
He's so good in it.
Oof.
mean,
But so
he's-
bad in life.
so, bad. So good in this, so bad in life.
Oh, man.
Hello, my sweet, beautiful scaredy cats. It is time for cocktail hour, and I know what you're thinking. The movie is called Seven, so what a perfect time to have 7 and 7s. But guess what? I don't like 7 and 7s. I think they're gross, so we're not doing that. So today's cocktail is a gin and sin. To make a gin and sin, you will combine 2 ounces of gin, 1 ounce of fresh squeezed orange juice, a half an ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice, a 1/4 ounce of grenadine, and a half an ounce of chilled water. Shake all ingredients together and strain into a chilled martini glass and garnish with an orange twist. Cheers.
Do we have any trivia about this movie? Does anybody have?
Yeah,
Aside
what
from
was the
Kevin
trivia?
Spacey, good in this, bad in life.
Wait, I had trivia.
I have one, which is that Brad Pitt did really get injured while filming this. He he cut his arm really bad, and they put him in a cast.
Yes.
So I guess in the movie he is in a cast. So at
Yes.
some point that was because in life he was injured.
Real cast.
He had
Real cast.
surgery on his arm.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
so there are some scenes because they we've talked about this on the pod. They don't shoot in sequence all the time, so there are some scenes that take place in the story before the cast in the story, and they had to figure out how to hide his cast.
Interesting.
For mine, it's for the gluttony scene, 7 crates of cockroaches were released on the set and poured on Bob Mack. Something had to be put in Mac's ears and nose to stop the cockroaches from crawling in.
God.
It
Oh
didn't
my
stop
God.
them from crawling into his underwear.
Oh my God.
So those were real cockroaches.
Ugh. Or his mouth. If his nose is plugged, he has to open his mouth to
Oh my
breathe.
God.
Ew.
Wow, I hate
Ugh.
that so much.
I know.
I would skip that job.
I'm really
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
I felt
Sorry.
like I had to tell you guys, though.
Sorry,
No,
David
that's
Fincher.
worth telling, but yikes.
Yeah, that's gross.
Bob Mack is the actor.
I guess so.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is. I'm an actor, so I can relate, but I'm like, oh my
I
God.
know.
If they told you, well, today we're just going to put cockroaches
I
all over
know.
you.
I really feel like the answer is no.
I know. I think maybe in
Yeah.
my old age, I would say no, but 10 years ago, I would
If
be
it's
like,
your first
yeah,
movie-
You're like, but bring it on.
Yeah, because like, somebody else is outside waiting to get cockroaches poured on them,
But
you know?
Monica, that's exactly the problem.
Yes, it
That is
is.
the problem with being an actor, because it's like, I guess I have no choice.
Right.
I guess this is reasonable, and it's just not.
It's not.
It's
I
just
agree.
not reasonable, and I don't accept that he had to do that. I
I
feel
know.
very
I
very
know.
upset for him that
They could have
happened.
just done a dummy. Like they could have made a fake person
They
for that.
really could have.
Yeah,
They really could have.
Oof.
they sure could have. All right, should we watch
Watch
this
the
trailer?
trailer?
Let's
Let's
watch
watch
the
the
trailer.
Yeah.
Let's watch the trailer.
There are 7 deadly sins: gluttony,
You're going to come take a look at this.
greed,
No one touches anything.
sloth, wrath, pride, lust, and envy. 7. You can expect 5 more of these.
Body was found on Tuesday morning.
I hate this city.
We're gonna get who did this.
This will be the very definition of swift justice.
There are 2 more bodies, 2 more victims.
This guy's methodical, exacting, and worst of all, patient.
Let's finish it.
Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No.
7.
Exciting.
Oh, let's do it.
Exciting trailer.
Oh my God. Can you guys please just tell us everything about this movie from start to
I'm
finish?
really excited.
Yes.
We sure can.
Well, first of all, we'll say the Kevin Spacey is not in the trailer, obviously, because he's an unknown villain till the end of the movie.
And I remember the first time I saw it, I was like surprised.
Yes.
I guess I must have been old enough to know who Kevin Spacey was.
Same.
And I was like, oh, I didn't know he was in this because he's not in the opening credits either.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
Very tricky.
Very tricky.
I feel like they don't do that anymore.
No.
Like they wouldn't do that now.
No,
Your
they'd be
name
like-
would be
They'd
there.
be like, come see the movie.
Yes.
Here's all our cards on the table.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so this movie starts at a crime scene, right?
Yes.
And we get to meet our 2 main characters.
Yes. Is that where it starts? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it starts with just Somerset at first. Somerset is Morgan Freeman, Detective
Yes.
Somerset, and Brad Pitt is Detective Mills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on a crime scene.
Right. And he's new.
Yeah.
Mills is new to the force. He just moved.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And yeah, you like get a little bit of their dynamic where Somerset's the veteran and he's kind of rolling his eyes at Mills.
Newbie.
And yeah.
Young, hot newbie.
Mhm.
Coming in hot.
Yeah.
And he's like, this city, you haven't worked here before. Oh, because he asked to be like transferred to this specific district.
Yeah.
And it
Which
seems
is a
like
tough district.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of violent crime happening here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out pretty quick that Somerset is about to retire, right?
Yeah. We find out he's about to retire. And yeah, he asks, like, why did you come here?
Mhm.
And he gives sort of an elusive answer, right?
Mhm.
He doesn't really say.
He's like, I felt like I could do good or something like that.
Yeah.
Like something weird.
Which it seems like there's more to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think they have like a little conversation with the lieutenant or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll call him a lieutenant.
Police department hierarchy.
We
but
don't know the lingo.
Sure, that
and
sounds
he's
right
like-
to me.
It says something like, you have your 6 days left. And he's like, oh no, okay, no, that's not yet. That's not yet. First, they get called into the first disgusting crime scene with the cockroaches.
Right. They get called to a new crime scene.
Cockroaches is right away.
Cockroaches is the first thing you see, basically.
It's as a corpse.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
This
a
actor
corpse.
didn't even do any acting.
Yeah, he's
body
dead.
to have cockroaches.
That's
put
what I'm
upon?
saying. They could have just made a person.
No.
I hope this trivia is just wrong. I hope
too.
the trivia
It's
is
not.
just wrong.
I bet it's not.
I mean, I think you can trust everything you read on the internet,
And I
but
won't.
maybe this
Well,
doesn't
everything
apply.
is-
So yeah, they walk in. There's a corpse, sort of bent over. That's how many?
Like a table.
How many pounds do we think we'd say?
500?
500-pound
Plus-
person.
Huge
large.
person.
He's big.
That's
He's a big
very
man.
big.
He's a big man.
And I think at first they're like, is this a murder or is this just like he had a heart attack?
Yeah.
And then they see that his hands and feet are bound
Yeah.
Oh God.
and there's a bucket next to him.
Oh
Like
no.
filled with vomit.
Puke bucket. There's a
Ew.
puke bucket.
Ew. Ew. Why? I hate that. I hate it.
It's very nasty.
And
Yeah.
there are cockroaches everywhere.
Cockroaches everywhere. The place is filthy. Henley, you would hate it. Henley hates a filthy, dirty
I hate it.
scene.
Yeah, this movie's going to be rough for you. There's a lot of dirtiness and
That's my least favorite thing about horror movies is when they're dirty.
Yeah, this one is filthy.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, yeah, like the coloring in this movie, I was noting, I was like, man, it's so dark and gray and like green and yellow. Like those are the only colors in the movie. Like light yellow. Like it's just very
like the colors of vomit.
Honestly, yes. Like the colors of death. It's literally
like
sickly, jaundiced colors.
Yes. Yes.
Jaundiced. That's what the DP said. He was like, I just want to feel like the movie is jaundiced.
That's right. Okay. So
and then they eventually go to the coroner doing the autopsy on this man's body. And he basically says like his stomach exploded. Like he ate himself to death.
Yep.
But they find like a bruise marking on his head from where a gun was held to his head.
Yeah.
So someone
your faces.
someone at gunpoint made him eat himself to death. And they said they found 2 different receipts so that the person was so like focused and I think patient. He says, worst of all, patient. Yeah. And he went to the grocery store twice to like get him enough food to eat himself to death.
Holy shit.
Spaghetti.
Ew.
Why do I have that in my head?
Oh my
I think
God.
it was.
It probably was.
And now I don't remember why. I don't know.
Wouldn't you rather just get shot in the head?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
but
no, this is.
I would choose that.
Of course, yes.
Definitely choose that over.
Oh, you're saying that he should have just
refused.
Not done it.
Refused. Yeah. I think that in all of these situations that we're going to get into here.
That's going to be a common question. Yeah.
So, can that really happen?
I'm sure.
I'm sure it can. If you
Yikes.
Yeah.
Although it does, I mean, not to go back to the puke bucket,
right?
But like
Wouldn't
your
you just
body
throw up?
does just get rid of before.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you would actually be able, but
we're gonna have to Google this.
We'll have to Google.
I don't think we want to.
Yeah, you're right.
Boy, I don't like it. I hope it's not possible.
I hope it's not possible.
But I kind of feel like it is.
Okay, so then that happened.
That happens, and then Somerset asks to be reassigned. He's like, Morgan Freeman, he's like, I only have 6 days left. Yeah. This is obviously
a bigger deal.
A big one.
Yep.
And I don't want this to be like the last thing that I do
on my plate. Yeah.
And I think you should reassign Brad Pitt as well, because he's too new.
Yes.
And so Mills is all pissed off and
heard about it.
And he gets reassigned. He does move him to another case, right?
Yeah.
And then it ends up being
another murder?
Right. The second
the second installment.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So then we get to a lawyer. Is it lawyer?
Yep.
A lawyer who
attorney
who has been killed, and they have written on the ground of his office in blood, greed.
Okay. Yikes.
Really spelling that one out for us.
Yeah. And he's like, I guess, a very big defense attorney in the town. So he's really popular and people know of him. I would maybe like a Johnny Cochran of sorts.
Sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so both of them are
lawyer.
Both of them were reassigned to this?
No, Somerset he was like, sorry, you're staying on this case. I'll move Mills onto this other case. And then they end up being the same case.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Copy that.
Yeah, so it said greed. And then,
no one could figure out before they did this reassignment that it was the same case? Or,
well, no, because so far it's just like this other
they
guy.
They haven't figured out the like
connection yet.
Sins connection yet.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's weird. The first one, you're just like,
this is
someone
gross.
force-fed somebody.
Right.
Like that's just a sick
kind of
person.
Like a mystery.
Yeah. If it's 2 different like weapons, 2 different forms of
Yeah.
So how was the defense attorney killed?
So
badly.
Badly killed. Good. Let's move on. I think we got it.
All the detail we need to know.
Let's move on.
No, they made him cut a pound of flesh out of his body.
That is bad.
And
put it on like the scale
to weigh.
To weigh.
It had to be exactly a pound.
Ew.
Oh wait, in the first one, was there a message or anything that was biblical?
So after this scene, Somerset is like back in his office. The lieutenant comes in and he's like, I've got these pieces of plastic that they found in your victim's stomach. I guess he was fed them.
Yeah.
And Somerset's like,
Yeah.
He's curious.
He's very smart.
Yes.
Putting
Smart.
it all together.
I always, when I'm watching these movies, I'm like, I would be the fucking worst detective.
Oh my God,
ever.
me too. I'd be like, oh, all right.
Like, okay, some pieces of plastic. Like, how do we know that?
It's probably from the can of food or whatever.
I'd be like, that like, doesn't mean anything.
Yes, exactly. So that he takes the plastic pieces and then goes back to the cockroach house and is kind of just looking around to see like, where could this plastic come from? Leads him to the refrigerator, which he pulls out, right? It's in the back of the refrigerator. And it says gluttony cut out of the plastic. And so then it's like he pieces the plastic back into the words.
Yeah.
And he put, so yes.
Wow.
And that's where the message is. It's like pinned right there.
Oh, right.
A little piece of paper. And it says,
oh, good. You have.
I wrote it down. Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light. And it's from
Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
And so Morgan Freeman, very smart. He's really immediately like going to the library.
Yeah,
like,
he loves the library. He knows the people there.
Yes.
They're doing this on purpose because I think they're showing us, they do a whole scene about him at the library and there's beautiful music in the background.
It's like a little montage, library montage.
Yes.
Doing his
that
research.
library is gorgeous. They have these green lamps that are beautiful library lamps.
It is a really pretty library.
Really makes you want to like hunker down and study and
yes.
learn a lot about really fucked up things.
Dax, I guess, got obsessed with those lamps the first time he saw them. And so he bought like 4 of those lamps and they're just sitting in like a closet somewhere. Yeah, it's like
I must
4
have
of
them
these.
and never use
Exactly. These green lamps. But anyway, yes. But then, and he makes a packet for Detective Mills.
Yes.
Like a study packet.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's like,
What
make
a
sure
good
you
guy.
make sure you read like these books, all these books about like the sins, 7 deadly sins. And
he's Professor Detective.
yes.
But then they show Detective Mills like unable to comprehend any of it and has to get somebody to give him Cliff Notes.
So funny. It really made me laugh.
Me too.
Oh, that's very funny.
So they're kind of telling us he's a little bit dim
Yeah.
in relation to Somerset.
Yes.
Maybe he has like street smarts though, right?
Oh, he does. We'll get there.
And then Gwyneth Paltrow's character is Tracy, and she calls the office and invites Somerset to dinner.
Yeah.
And they're not getting along at this point.
Mills and Somerset.
Mills and Somerset.
There's a tension. Not a sexual tension, just a regular tension.
So I would be interested.
I know.
In
Me
a
too.
sexual
Me
tension.
too.
I would be interested.
I'm here for that spinoff.
Yeah.
Spin-off.
So then he
What
goes
if?
to dinner and
Because now they're back working together because the cases are
the
related.
cases joined, so they're
Yes.
back together.
They're back together. They're sharing an office.
Just can't quit each other.
Yeah.
He hides his cliff notes because he's embarrassed. He
Yeah.
like gets in and like puts them in a drawer real quick.
Yeah.
So funny.
This is a cute dynamic. I like
It
this.
is.
I like
It
this
is.
dynamic.
It
yeah,
is.
this is good.
And then they go to dinner, or they have dinner at the house, and you learn that Tracy and David Mills, were high school sweethearts. They have this cute banter, cute relationship. She said she thinks he's the funniest person she's ever met. And then you cut to him like wrestling with these dogs and looking like a dum-dum. And it's a funny moment.
It is funny.
Yeah. And then they're over a subway. They're all, it seems like they're not very happy in their current position. That's what you're getting out of it.
Right.
Like their apartment's over a subway. The whole apartment starts shaking in the middle of the dinner and they have to be like, oh yeah, the realtor, like the fucking realtor told us X, Y, and Z and they only let us in for 5 minutes. Now we know why.
Right.
And they're just a little unhappy with their current situation.
Yeah.
But they're all getting along. They all start that's really the moment. They all start laughing hysterically.
Belly laughing at the shaking house. He's
Yeah.
like, you've just got a real nice vibrating apartment. And they laugh so hard.
so hard. They couldn't stop.
Morgan Freeman laughing really hard is something I feel like I don't see very often.
That's true. It's often a very
serious role.
Yes.
That's
so seeing his face in a really big smile was a treat.
That's true.
Oh, that is nice.
It was
I would
nice.
love to see it. Yeah.
You're right.
So after this dinner, are they fully bonded? Like, are they back on track to
but
be
he's
friends?
kind of bonding more with Tracy, Morgan Freeman. He's bonding with Mills, like, through Tracy. I feel like,
I like your partner. That makes me like you
Tracy's
more.
the conduit for them. And she kind of, I think, did that on purpose.
Right.
She's an
like,
emotionally
I know I'm more
intelligent
likable
person
than you, so let's have him over.
Yeah, that's right.
As women tend to do. Let me fix this for you.
Yeah. But then they start working on the case again at night in the apartment. And then they get a call? Or is that the next day?
They're looking at photos of the crime scene of the lawyer crime scene. And there's a photo of his wife on his desk, the lawyer's wife, with blood drawn around her eyes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And they're like,
That
means she knows something, or she'll see something. It's like a clue.
She's seen something, or she'll be able to see something.
Yes, which again is something I would not personally get to that conclusion.
Cut her eyes out.
Yes, exactly.
And so they go and question the wife.
Yeah.
And they're just showing her all these photos of this very
intense
graphic crime scene of her husband.
No.
Yeah.
They've put like Post-it notes over his body so that she doesn't have to see him.
Oh
my God.
And she's crying a lot. Almost comically, I would say.
Yeah, just a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't do this right now. And then she's like, but wait a second. In this photo, this painting on this wall is upside down. And
Another
they're like,
clue.
Yes.
Clue.
Another clue. So then they go to the office and they take the painting down, and they're like looking, nothing. Everything looks fine. They like take the backing off the painting. Nothing. And then Brad Pitt says, we're getting fucked right now. And then he bent over and he said, this is what we are. This is what's happening to us.
He is funny.
Genius.
He is. He's the funniest guy she's ever met. But then Somerset, being the smart man that he is, pulls out like the duster fingerprints thing and does the wall. And it says, in fingerprint, help me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Talk about a clue.
A big
That is
clue.
a real capital C clue.
Big clue. So then they run these fingerprints.
yeah, and get a match eventually.
Yeah.
And it's like a man with a criminal history. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Some like minor violent crimes. Was there pedophilia?
I want to say there was.
Yeah.
I think there was. It was
Little
bad.
major.
Yes, that one's major.
That feels major.
Wow, the irony also circling back
Oh,
to the young boy.
Oh my gosh, the irony.
Oh, wow.
Oh
You think
boy.
Kevin Spacey on set was like,
I know. Oh boy. He's really getting into character. You know? Oh boy.
Oh,
Anyway,
boy.
so yes, this person was not a by all means good person.
But so they're thinking like, we've got our guy.
Yeah, this is him.
And so they get the SWAT team. They're going in for a raid. They break down the door of this apartment that they've tracked him to, and he has air fresheners hanging on like all the ceilings,
Like 100 of them.
Yeah, hundreds, like in like 2 rooms full of air fresheners.
Yeah.
And
oh no.
and there is like a figure in the bed
Under the covers.
oh no.
This is what I remember from watching this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's
This
bad.
is what I remember.
And
They're screaming at him, get up!
get the fuck
Get
up,
up, motherfucker!
and he's not getting up.
Oh, I bet he can't.
And they eventually pull down the sheets, and I feel like words can't really describe how awful this
Person looks. Yeah.
It is like a decrepit corpse. I feel like it looks almost out of like an orc out of Lord of the Rings or something
no.
crazy. It's like so thin, bed sores everywhere.
Not even thin, just barely
Skeletal.
skin on bone. It's a skeleton, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they find a stack of like Polaroids that are dated, and it's like the one on top. They're like, oh, this was 3 days ago. And they go back, and the first Polaroid is from a year ago. So he has
to the day,
and he's strapped onto the bed. So
but it's normal looking that day.
Yes. So on the
First day.
year ago, he looks normal, and so this man has been strapped to this bed for a year. And it says sloth on the wall, and like one of the SWAT, like hot-headed SWAT guys is like in his face.
Yeah.
And he's like, you fucking deserved it though. Like you pedophile or whatever. And right as he does it, the corpse guy is like,
yeah,
and
he
he's
springs to
alive.
life.
I remember this. I remember also not being, when I saw this movie, I was too young and blacked out most of it. But I do remember this being the first time I became aware of bed sores as a concept.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a good concept.
That's a thing that happens?
God, it's awful.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Very nasty. They
that's what you'd call a pop out, that moment.
Yeah.
It got me.
Yeah.
It got me.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
But then so they take him to the hospital and he's in a little tent and they're like, do you think he'll be able to talk and say anything? And they're like, oh no, like if his brain wasn't mush, which it is, he chewed off his tongue a long time ago.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Why?
I guess he's just going crazy, most likely. And like maybe trying. Oh, God.
It's
I don't know.
just very bad.
So he was strapped on the bed. Does it seem like there's like anything else going on, or he was just strapped on the bed for a year straight?
I think they say kind of some of the details, like what the killer must have been doing. They're like that he injected like vitamins into him, like enough
to keep him
he's
alive.
keeping him alive,
Right.
and like cleaning him, I think, and like changing when he goes to the bathroom, maybe. I don't know, but they're like the amount of like
care
that he had to put into it, to keep him alive for a year in this condition is like disturbing.
It's very, very disturbing.
Very
disturbing.
disturbing.
That's the perfect word to use.
Yeah. Ooh. So
that's a bad one.
That's a bad one.
That was a bad one.
Mm-hmm.
How did his fingerprints end up on the wall?
Oh, they cut his finger off. Sorry, that was a big part we forgot.
Yes, they cut his whole hand off.
The whole hand.
And he was still alive.
Missing a hand.
Yes.
They cut his hand off too.
So
Jesus.
the murderer wanted them to find.
Yeah,
him.
it's like a
scavenger hunt.
It's literally a scavenger
Yeah.
hunt.
Wow.
He's on a
having
goose chase.
fun.
He
He's
is having
having
fun, and that's what Mills keeps saying. He's like, he's fucking with
He's
us.
bending us
He
over the table.
He
Yes.
knows we're falling into his trap.
Right. Then Tracy calls Somerset she's like, I need to talk to someone. I like don't know anyone in this city and I just want to talk. And so they meet up at like a diner and she's like, just doesn't like the city. That was the line in the trailer that she was like,
I hate
the city. And she, is looking for a job, but can't find a job. And then we get the information that she is pregnant.
She's pregnant.
Oh.
And then he tells her, I was in this relationship before and she got pregnant and we decided not to keep it. He didn't think they could be happy in that city raising a kid.
And also he says like it was the first time I went to work and was afraid, like because he like felt like he has something to lose, I suppose.
Yes.
So being a murder detective, he was like, it like messed with my head with my job.
Oh,
type of
interesting.
thing.
Yeah. I think he says if you decide not to keep it, don't ever tell him.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
Because he says, I know I made the right decision, but there isn't a day that goes by that I don't wish I made the other decision.
Okay.
He doesn't want him to have any regrets.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Then more library stuff.
Back to the library.
Study montage.
Yeah.
And Somerset has this friend who works for the FBI,
which you don't know immediately. He just looks like this weirdo,
like a man off the street.
Yes, and he seems skeptical of Mills, but he's like, he's cool. And then they exchange some like money, and then the guy leaves, and Mills is like, well, that was money well spent,
right?
And then Somerset tells Mills like, basically the FBI sort of has tabs on us. Like at the library, if you check out certain books, they're flagged and they they have a file of the people who checked out, books on murder,
Mein Kampf or
Yes.
those kind of things that then you're on like
A list.
A watch list.
Yeah.
that is not legally, like you can't use that in a court of law because it's
Illegal. Yeah.
but he's
could
like,
send you on the right track.
Yeah,
Could send you on the right track.
yeah. And so
Can you check out Mein Kampf at the library?
I mean,
Good question.
that
I've never
seems like
tried.
you shouldn't be able to.
be able to, but well, if you try, you'll end up on a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry.
But that scene was kind of funny too, because like now I just feel like being watched is so normal that I was like, this is funny that it's like
A big deal.
your like books being watched. Brad Pitt's like, that's how can that be legal? And now I'm like, well, everything we do is monitored.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, then this guy comes back with a name,
Yeah.
and the name is John Doe,
Yep.
and an address, and he's checked out all of the books that they've been kind of using for research, all of Dante's Inferno and whatnot.
Canterbury Tales.
Yeah.
All these things.
It's also such an interesting detail that like he checked them all out at the library.
I guess at that time, though, I guess you can buy books.
You could buy books, or you could just like go to the library and read them and not check them out. But I guess you don't think you're being watched,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, is this a setup though? Or no?
This one's not.
Oh,
And
it's
it's
not.
also like, why would you make your library card
John Doe.
in like with your address on it
Yeah.
if you're like
if you're a killer.
person?
I feel
Yeah.
like a
You,
super smart killer.
steal someone else's library card?
Yeah,
Anyways.
that is weird.
He didn't, and they go to his apartment, and as they're knocking on his door, they see him coming home at the end of the hall, and they're like, "Oh, police!" And he drops his groceries and shoots at them.
Yeah.
and this is Kevin Spacey, or we don't see his face.
We don't
him
see his
yet.
face.
Okay.
It's all hidden.
He's too far away. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he starts shooting at them.
And then
This-
a big crazy chase scene.
They start a
ensues.
huge chase scene.
And this is like a big apartment building. They're running through like
people's apartments.
People are running and like screaming. They're jumping through windows.
Yes.
The cops are jumping through the windows. Then it goes outside.
Yeah.
It's raining.
Yeah.
Then he like goes back inside again. This is a long chase.
It's very long. Very, very long. And they're not together. They're like, we keep cutting from Somerset to Mills, and they're all over the place. And they're just missing him over and over and over again. And then they're outside.
They run by a van, and Mills is like sneaking around it, thinking he's like almost got him. And then he's on top of the van, and he hits him in the head with like some like metal thing, and knocks Brad Pitt down.
Oh no!
Brad Pitt drops his gun, and John Doe jumps down, grabs his gun, and is like holding it to Brad Pitt's
Head.
temple, and is like, I just feel like you kind of see that he's just enjoying this little moment of like being in power.
Yeah. You still don't see his face. You never see his face.
Okay.
Oh, we forgot a part.
Let's say it.
We have to go back because this is important.
Okay, let's go back.
Unless it hasn't happened yet.
Either way, it feels like we need to know.
This is a big thing that we do on the podcast a lot.
Okay, good.
It's hard.
It's hard to stay. Okay, I think this was maybe in the Greed area, but where they're somewhere in a hall talking, and a journalist comes up, a photographer journalist comes up to them and is like trying to take pictures, and Brad Pitt's like, hey, get out of here.
Right.
And then the guy leaves, and then Somerset's like, those people pay a lot for pictures and stuff. So he's kind of, that was weird.
Like annoyed
that Somerset's annoyed that Mills like shoot him away, because he was like, we could have
made some money
on some info. That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was earlier on, right? I think it was.
Yes.
Anyway, that happened a while ago, but that comes up later, so we have to bring that back.
Okay, good to know.
So now
Back to the chase.
John Doe's got the gun to Mills's head, and he just kind of sits there for like a couple seconds enjoying it, and then leaves him.
Oh, he
doesn't kill him.
Yeah.
And then Somerset finds him. They go back up to John Doe's house, and Mills is ready to like bust down the door. Somerset's like, we need a warrant. We technically have no reason to be here.
Yeah.
We got his name off an illegal FBI book list, so none of this would be admissible in court. And then he'd get off. And so like, you don't want to do this. And Mills is like, oh, you're right. When you're right. And then bust down the door.
He's a bit of a hothead.
He's a hothead.
Oh.
Yeah, we'd call him a hothead.
But yeah, his house is essentially a murderer's house.
Yep.
He's got all his plans.
Standard.
And he's got some like trophy cases with his previous murders that we've seen. The man's like sloth cut off hand is there in like a case.
Ew.
And like formaldehyde it's gross.
Yeah. It's all gross.
And then Mills finds the photograph. He has like a dark room with all his photographs, and he sees
every creepy killer has a dark room.
This is a real treasure trove of clues.
Oh yes, yeah. But yeah, he finds pictures of him in the hallway. So the journalist was John Doe.
Was Kevin Spacey.
So he was like, we had him the whole time.
Right there. He was right there.
And so,
oh my god,
right under their noses.
Typical serial killer behavior, wanting to get close to the crime, back to the scene of the crime.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then there's like 2 more crime scenes back to back. First,
so we've had 3 deaths.
We've had gluttony, greed, sloth.
Okay.
Yeah. And the next one we get is lust. This is the one I remembered from seeing it the first time. I hate it.
I don't like how this is going to go.
And I can't remember how they like find out about it.
Get us there. Yeah.
I don't really remember, but they go to like an adult sex shop. And they like find out maybe there's a receipt in his apartment for this sex shop. That's what it is.
Right.
And so they go and they're like, what did you make for this man? And he's like, yeah, I figured he was like some novelty item guy or whatever.
Okay,
and like,
sure.
And he made him like an enormous knife dildo.
Yeah.
It's like a huge like... I don't know.
Yeah, knife dildo is exactly
10-inch knife dildo thing.
Okay,
it's enormous.
What's the difference between a knife and a knife dildo?
Good question, Henley.
You can put it on your penis.
It's like a strap-on knife device.
Strap-on knife device.
Strap-on knife device. Yes.
Oh,
I guess not a dildo.
Yeah. So he fucked someone with a knife?
Well,
just wait.
Wait, this is bad for Emily, who does not like knives.
I don't like knives.
Oh, you don't?
This is bad
like
for
knives.
me only. Me exclusively.
All those collectors out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, but they find like whatever, like prostitution house.
Yeah, like like brothel of sorts.
Yeah. I guess that they just report the crime. They're called to a brothel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they find the dead woman and a man on the floor, like crying and screaming, get this thing off me, get this fucking thing off me. So you like see that he has been like forced to do it,
to wear
her.
the knife device.
Oh my God.
And have sex with this lady and kill this lady.
Oh my
Probably
God.
at gunpoint, we imagine.
Yes, we imagine.
Another thing. Yes.
Take the gunshot.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Definitely take the gunshot.
Oh my God.
For sure.
The idea of living a life after having done, like, who?
But you don't like see the woman, which is an interesting thing that we've talked about before, where you fill it in with your mind.
Oh my God, imagining it is bad.
I had remembered like it being an incredibly graphic scene.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's the thing where it shows you a shot and she's blocked. You can just see her legs like up, and then it like just shows him. But I had filled it in with my head.
My God,
and I thought
of
this
was
a really graphic scene.
I'm doing it. Nope.
Yeah, it's awful.
Nope.
So everyone listening at home is doing it too.
Bad. Sorry.
And then there's the Pride one. And again, I can't remember how they got to that one.
These kind of happen
real
quick
back to back. Okay. I guess they're just called in, and they're like, he's moving faster. Yes. But so then there's Pride, where they cut off a woman's nose that has like a lot of plastic surgery, and they're like, cut off her nose despite her face. Morgan Freeman really filling in the blanks for us.
Does she die from that?
I guess.
Does she? We don't know.
I don't know.
I
think she did.
She must have bled to death or something.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I think all these people died. Yeah.
So ultimately they all die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so then they go back to the station and they're like, oh God, like we're only 2 left. Like we got to catch him. Time's running out. And then in walks blood covered Kevin Spacey
You
with
see
his
him
hands
revealed.
up. Yeah. And he's like, detectives.
Okay.
Oh, that part. It is so scary.
Honestly,
and intense.
it is scarier knowing how scary he is.
Yeah.
Because you're right, he's a very good actor, but now that my brain can fill in the blanks of like, this is a scary man.
He's also a predator, a real life
predator. And then he did that crazy video when he got kicked out of his house of cards that was like a fucking real life serial killer. Anyway, if you haven't watched it,
bonus material.
It's scary. And we shouldn't be indulging him. Anyway, he comes in.
But his hands are, covered in blood.
And his fingertips are all taped up. That was the thing that they kept saying was we couldn't find any fingerprints in his whole apartment. How the fuck is that possible? Right. And he cuts off his fingerprints like regularly because they would grow back. Yeah. And so he's like constantly, and the opening credits also, forgot to mention, are like close-ups of someone cutting off their fingertips.
Why not just always wear gloves?
I guess
not as
just
cool.
to prevent,
he's crazy.
Prevent any chance for
he's crazy.
Error.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's very meticulous.
Yeah,
this man.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yikes. So then detectives, he's turning himself in to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Can't trust
and
that.
He's like, I want to talk to my lawyer, which is like, okay.
You came here.
Also, in retrospect, like, why? What?
Yeah. Just
knowing
say
how
the thing that you have to say.
Yeah.
So then the lawyer sits the detectives down and is like, there are 2 more bodies, 2 more sins, and he wants to take you to the bodies. And he says, if you don't take him, you'll never find them.
Yeah.
Oof. And so
wow. So the lawyer is complicit in this too.
I don't know. He seems pretty like straight faced about it. Like, this is just my job.
Yeah. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, I don't think he knows like anything about where the bodies are. He just was told to tell
he's just
that.
relaying information, which is why it's like, why did you need this lawyer? Just tell them that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
So
it's
anyways,
power play.
So they agree and they're driven to a place out of nowhere. And there's like a cop helicopter circling also. So like they're prepared. They have all these people.
Right.
But it's only the 3 of them in the van driving, right?
Oh no.
He's like in the back seat.
Yep.
And like
taunting
them a bit, or like, what does he say?
He's like
he has like
cuffed, probably.
He's like excited. He's like, I can't wait for you guys to see this. I can't wait. And
but I mean, like, is he restrained?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah, he's in his like orange jumpsuit now too, and handcuffs. And basically, Mills is like, there's just a long scene of like some good creepy dialogue between all of them. It's like, do like crazy people know that they're crazy? Like when you're doing all this crazy shit, or you're like, man, it's like so weird how crazy I am.
Yeah. Good question.
It's so weird how crazy I am.
And he goes on like a big rant. He's like, yeah, because you're just like killing innocent people. And he's like, innocent people? You think these are innocent people? And he's like, a man so fat that he like, you'd stop eating if you saw him. I was like, Jesus Christ, like that's still an innocent person.
I know. Yeah.
And he goes through all of them.
It's a weird one to start with.
He goes through them all as to why they're horrible.
They're sins,
they're
I
sins.
guess. Yeah,
they're
sinners. And so he's like, there's a sin on every street corner in every house, and we just live with it because that's the disgusting world we live in. Everyone's sinners now. And just the creepy part is when he's like, and when
moral stance to take from a murderer.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so creepy, because it's like he believes in it in a real way.
Yeah.
Which that's the serial killer part that's like so unsettling, because they think they're doing something ultimately good.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's so delusional. Also, wasn't this the plot line of the Black Hood in Riverdale? Just throwing that in for a second.
Oh, I haven't seen. I don't know.
Kind of was. It kind of was.
It was, right?
But he's like, basically, when you like see these last 2, like you're gonna remember me, and you're gonna be remembered. You should be thanking me, because you're going to be remembered after
be the
today.
Last 2, aren't they?
And like saying some pretty ominous shit.
Oh, it's so ominous. Oh my God. So then they get to basically the middle of a field, a road. They get out. He's like, and then they walk into the middle of this field and they're kind of like looking around.
Oh no.
He says, what time is it?
Yes.
And he's like, it's 7:01. And he's like, he's close, or it's close.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And they start like walking into like a field, and then they see like a van like barreling down towards them, and like the helicopter's like, what's that? Like, where everyone's like freaking out, thinking like it's gonna be like a bomb or something. And they're like, what the hell's that? Then Morgan Freeman like runs over and has his gun. He's like, stop the car, get out of the car. And the guy gets out and he's like, I'm just a delivery guy.
Yeah,
like,
he's
I'm
like
just
a FedEx guy, basically.
Yeah. He's like, this guy paid me $500 to like drive out here and deliver this box at exactly 7.
And then they're cutting back and forth from Somerset with this guy and getting the box, and then Mills and John Doe. And John Doe starts asking or talking about Mills' wife and family.
And he's like, also, he's going, when I said I admired you, because he said earlier that he admired him
in the car. He said that
from being able to like track down his house. He was like, that was like pretty impressive. Like, I really admire you. And he's basically now saying like, I wasn't lying when I said I admired you. Like, are you listening to me? Like, I really admire you and your family.
And then they cut to Somerset, who opens the box.
Oh God.
And then we don't see what it is, but he has
a big reaction.
And then he starts sprinting towards them.
And he's like, everyone, like,
stop,
drop your guns. He drops his gun. He's like, he says,
John Doe has the upper hand.
John Doe has the upper hand.
He's screaming that John Doe has the upper hand.
I just got chills.
I know.
And that's huge.
Yes.
And Mills is like, what the fuck's going on? He's not dropping his gun. He's like, no. Like, tell me what's going on. And like,
what's going on? What's going on? And panic is like at 100.
Yeah, you're like, what's in the box? What's in the box?
And then, then it's the famous,
what's in the box? What's in the box?
Is that, I mean, does he like just start kind of piecing it together?
I don't think so. I think something gets said.
Is that a line that happens in the movie?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I just want to know what's in the box.
Oh, that's like a famous line.
Well, it comes from truth, I guess.
Yes.
We all want to know what's in the box.
We all want to know what's in the box.
It's a normal question to ask. But yes, you're right. First, John Doe says, I said that I admired your wife and I went to your house this morning.
Yes.
I had breakfast with her.
Oh, no.
And then...
No.
She didn't want to, or something. And so I took a token.
Right.
Something like that. And so then he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he's like, what's in the box? What's in the box? And I think Kevin Spacey says,
her pretty little head.
Scary.
That
is fucked up. That is so fucked up.
And then he's like, no, he doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
And then Somerset is like, you cannot if you kill him, he wins.
He wants you to kill him
because it's envy and wrath. Wrath is the last sin that he would be executing.
Right.
He would be killing him out of vengeance.
Right.
So he's like, if you do this, he wins. Don't do it.
Oh, and he says she begged for her life and the life of her unborn child. And then Brad Pitt's reaction, John Doe's like, oh, you didn't know. And
Whoa.
And so,
God, what an asshole.
Yeah, Mills is very angry.
Yeah.
Filled with wrath.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And he shoots him.
He kills him.
He kills him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn it.
He falls into the trap.
He completed it. He completed his circle plan.
And it ends with him going to prison. He gets arrested.
He's in a cop car.
In the back of a cop car.
Mills is?
Yes. Because you can't just kill a prisoner.
I know. We don't know. We don't get to go to trial with him.
Right.
So
We're
we
not
don't
sure
know
what happened.
Oh, right. Because he wasn't a threat. He was handcuffed.
He's handcuffed and just fucking with them.
Oof.
And so, the assumption being that now Brad Pitt's life is also over, ruined, probably going to prison.
And certainly can't be a detective anymore. And his wife is dead.
Wow.
And his wife is dead.
I don't know how you recover from seeing your wife's head in a box.
He didn't see her. But he probably did eventually.
None of us saw her. That was another one that my mom actually said, I have like the visual of her head in the box.
Me too.
We don't see it.
That's wild.
Another one that you just fill in.
Yep.
Wow. So not a happy ending.
No, it's bleak. Because he drives away and then the lieutenant is like, where will you be or where are you going to go to Somerset? And he's like, I'll be around. And then there's a voiceover. Do you have it?
He says, I don't have it exactly, but it's something like, this world is good and worth saving, I think. And he says, I only agree with the second part.
Yeah, I agree with the second part.
Something like that.
Oh,
and that's it.
The world is bad.
Oh, wow. It is.
But worth saving?
Oh, that is crazy.
Is this technically a horror movie?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it is scary. And there are like
horrific moments.
Horrific images
that
will stick with you forever.
Yeah.
Ones that you make up in your mind that you didn't actually see, like a knife rape death.
Well, it's like why I have had nightmares after doing this podcast sometimes, because it's like it ultimately isn't what you see necessarily that is the scariest part. It's like what you think about, what like
your
sticks
imagination
with you.
does.
Yeah, what you're left with, like the message of some of these things, especially this one. Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, always like real life killers are much scarier to me than... Actually, I mean, ghosts are my scariest, but in terms of scary movies.
Killers.
But it goes ghosts, demons, killers.
Demons, killers.
Aliens and monsters and stuff. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
But I feel
For me, it's killers, demons, ghosts.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Yeah. I think I'm demons number one.
Yeah, demons number one for me. Ghosts.
I didn't know that I was scared of demons until we started doing this, and I learned about how things that I would have thought are ghosts sometimes are demons.
Yeah, ghosts.
Demons have more malice than
demons
ghosts.
are the mean ghosts.
Essentially, demons are a mean ghost.
Well, demons aren't human. Demons are not human.
And never were human.
And never were human. They're like, the devil.
From
kind of.
Right.
And then ghosts are just, angry humans.
But they could be also not angry.
They could be also friendly ghosts.
Right. Demons are always angry.
Casper, a friendly ghost.
Demons are always angry.
See, I don't believe in ghosts or demons.
Same.
So killers are my number one thing because they're real.
Fair.
I'm the same.
Fair.
Killers are like, obviously I'm the most scared of. And then it's like, the gap is huge before I hit demons, I guess, first, and then ghosts. Although ghosts, I believe in a little more than demons, so I'm a little maybe more scared of ghosts because I'm like,
interesting.
Could be.
I maybe don't either, but if they were real, they would be the scariest.
Yeah.
And so the possibility that they could be is like, well, but that would be bad.
That would be bad.
Killers would also be bad.
Killers are bad.
Killers
are the worst.
Killers are bad.
That's
especially
the thesis of this podcast.
Sociopaths
are bad.
Well, I'm glad we came to that conclusion.
We've learned
you
a lot
guys.
today.
Yeah. Wow.
My goodness.
We did it.
Wow. Thank you, Monica. I'm never going to see this movie probably, but I might. I am going to look up a lot of images of 1995 Brad Pitt because I've been inspired.
Please do.
Mm-hmm.
We all should.
I've been inspired.
I'm going to go to mess hall straight after this.
Okay.
And I'm never leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep us updated. Let us know if you have any sightings.
We'll
pop right
gray
over.
Leather.
Cream gray leather. The most elusive description I've ever heard.
Where do you purchase something like that? Also, like really hot outfit, like physically.
You mean like temperature?
Warm outfit to be wearing in Los Angeles.
It was evening.
Okay,
and it was Los Angeles. So
he might have been riding his motorcycle.
There it is.
And they often wear leathers.
That's what it was.
Probably was
for sure.
Oh God, he's hot. He's so hot.
Another big revelation.
Another huge one. Hey, Brad, if you're listening, we all think you're hot.
Oh, yeah, come on the podcast.
You've maybe never heard this. We think you're hot.
Yeah.
So just as
your
a heads
self-esteem needs a boost. So
just as like a heads up for women who don't know you think you're hot.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so much.
Really fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to. It made me rewatch that movie.
Yes.
So good.
I love rewatching movies.
I would advise everyone to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I think
very
I'm
well
do
done.
This one.
I'm going to see
this one.
Henley's going to watch it.
I'm going to watch
You're
it.
going to watch it at Netflix on mute?
Yeah. Literally in the corner of my screen.
I'm just going to look at this movie.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to go read Twilight. So great.
Big day.
For all of us. Big day. Thank you so much, Monica.
Thank you.
Everyone. And goodbye.
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 I
everyone, Emily here. Thanks for listening to another episode of Too Scary Didn't Watch. We had a great time with Monica talking about how attractive Brad Pitt is in Brad. If you are listening, I still think so. If you like the podcast, subscribe and rate and review on iTunes. You can also follow us on social media at TSDW Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Send us an email at tsdwpodcast@gmail.com to let us know if there are any films you'd love to hear talked about on the podcast, or just your thoughts in general, or say hello. And we will see you next week. Don't be too scared. Bye.